Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Your Business podcast. We are back and we are live once again. Tonight we're doing something special. Before we've had, a guest on, and we've kind of devoted the entire show to maybe one guest. But tonight we're doing something special. We've got my man Marc Graham's in the building. Also, Miss Lindsey A. She has a program as well. Marc has a company as well. And we're going to talk to the both of them. We're going to have some conversations. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship. We're going to talk about the highs and lows. We're going to talk about what they think it takes to be successful, and where they may be in that range of success. Have they felt as though they've got there yet? Do they still have a ways to go? Because success can look like so many different things. Success is not always about financial. Success can be how many people that you impacted. If at the end of the day, you set out to only impact a certain number of people and you've impacted those number of people, have you met your goal? Are you now successful? So we're going to have that conversation. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Marc Graham, Miss Lindsey, we go ahead and introduce yourselves. And Marc, we're going to do, it's ladies first, Marc. Ladies first.
Of course.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lindsey, A-V-A, Lindsey Anderson, however you want to say it. I am the Executive Director of Vision Driven 757. It's a nonprofit organization here in the Hampton Roads area designed to enhance the community by enhancing the lives of our young people. I am also an empowerment coach and I'm an event coordinator. But I do all the things, and I'm a very big community advocate. So I'm always in the streets.
In them streets. All right, Marc, talk to me, man. What's going on?
I mean, she gave that big intro. That's.
Oh yeah, listen. Oh yeah, she was on it, man. She was on
it. My name is Marc Graham, founder of Speak Lyfe, and founder of Bean Life Coffee, which I do. I'm trained by the great J.B. Harrison of promotions and marketing. Ain't no need looking back, man.
Oh, I was just that was
trained by one of the best in marketing and promotions and things like that, and that's what I do. Again, like Lindsey, advocate in the community services, working in the community, in the church, and in different areas here in 757, and sometimes national.
Oh yeah, because you're international, brother. We know how you get down. We know.
Don't do this on this line.
We already know, man. We know how that goes. Yeah, we know. So look, you guys. I just want to say welcome to the show. Welcome to Mind Your Business podcast. I appreciate you guys taking time out of your schedules to come hang out with us, and not only come and hang out with us, but to be transparent, be real, and just be open to having this conversation. Because at the end of the day, you could choose not to have these conversations. You can make everybody think that everything is good and entrepreneurship is easy. But I appreciate you guys coming on to the show and having this conversation. So let's go with Miss Lindsey. Ladies first, Marc. Ladies first. With your organization, you've done a lot. I had a chance to check out your bio. I've had a chance. I had a conversation with Marc, and I've seen some of the work that you've done. For you, do you think that at this point that you're successful, or do you still have ways to go?
I still have a ways to go, long ways to go. I measure success not by monetarily or the number of people I impact. It's honestly a personal feeling. Like when I feel that I have done my job, then I'm done. Then I feel like I'm successful. Granted, I celebrate all my wins. I clap for myself every step of the way, but I'm not yet where I want to be, nor do I have the impact yet that I want to have. And I want it to be such a larger scope than what it's on now. So I'm successful at where I am. But as I continue to grow and evolve and expand, the level of success is going to change for me. The bar is going to grow. So right now, yeah, I'm successful.
Got it. Yeah,
but I still have a ways to go.
So then my question to you is, where exactly do you want to go as far as with your organization, with what you're doing? Where, in order for you to quote unquote to get to that place of success, where that I'm successful. Where do you see that? What is that bar for you?
That bar is vision driven, not being only 757, but 313, 731, like all over the nation. That bar is having several community outreach centers. That bar is possibly opening a school. So I have a lot more work that I want to do here in Hampton Roads, but also just expanding across the nation, helping kids all over, because the need doesn't change. The things that are wrong with our educational system, with the community, it's not just in Hampton Roads, it's all over the place. So it's a lot of work to be done. So I feel that once I've established a good footprint, not just in Hampton Roads, but at least all on the East Coast, will I consider myself to be somewhat successful.
And so what exactly is the goal of Vision Driven 757?
Vision Driven 757, the goal is to encourage these kids to be the change. Right now, we are in a very big transitional state as a country, and I feel like our children that are coming up are going to really be the ones to kick it in high gear, really be the ones to invoke the change. And so they need the tools, the resources, the encouragement now, so that tomorrow they're ready to do the work.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Marc, talk to me, man. Let's talk success. Where are you? How do you feel as though? Do you feel like you're successful? You still got a ways to go, and where's that bar for you?
Right now, honestly, I feel like I have a ways to go. And I think something a lot of people have taught me and I've learned on my own, and is if you're not constantly growing, your business isn't growing. If you're not constantly working or constantly changing, if you're not challenging yourself, you're not doing anything. I think I heard somebody say, um, if you feel like you're not going crazy or challenging yourself every day in a business, it's not growing. You're not doing something wrong. And if I'm not doing something that makes me think I'm crazy in doing it, you know what I'm saying, then I'm not challenging myself. So if I say, this is what I want to do, how crazy can I get in doing this? That's what I'm going to do, you know?
What so and you got a couple things that you're doing too, man.
Yeah.
You got the podcast,
Mm-hmm.
and then you also have the Bean Life coffee. Now
Yeah.
let me ask you this. I'm not a coffee drinker. As a matter of fact, listen, I don't even like warm liquids, to
Yeah.
be honest with you. I'm just, I might do a hot cocoa when it's cold. I mean, but besides that, that's about as far as it goes for me. How did you know what I mean? Like, how in the world did you get into, because I know you and I know the things that you have done in the past.
Yeah.
And even some of the things that you're still doing.
Yeah.
So how did you go from that to, you know what? Let me start this coffee business. Let me go get me some coffee beans.
It's as you know, I do, like, you know me forever. I drink coffee. I was drinking Starbucks, whatever coffee it was, and I just happened to honestly be in Tampa, Florida, at a TD Jakes conference, and you can imagine that a TD Jakes conference at an arena, there was, I'm not lying, I'm not exaggerating, there was one coffee stand there for the entire week, and um, it was just one stand out of these thousands of people that was there, and I was standing in line saying to myself, I need to figure out how to make my own coffee, because with the one stand, it was three people working, catering to 3 or 4 or 5 thousand
Got
people,
it.
you know, and you looked at your Starbucks bill, every week, every Sunday, me and my friends was gathering at Starbucks, and every week we was at Target, Starbucks, just there, to the point where we knew the baristas, we knew the shifts that they were working, and you add up that bill of reloading your card, a Starbucks card. Starbucks isn't cheap. Coffee isn't cheap, you know. So once you see it on at Wawa for free 99, or free Tuesdays or free Mondays, I gathered my own research on it and looked for how to make my own coffee, and Google, YouTube, and I called my friends and was like, yo, this is what I want to do. And I love the word life, because that's my whole motto. And I was just like, yo, it's coffee beans, bean life, and that's how we came up with it. Shot it to one of my best friends, and we did a logo, and I sent to the company, the first company I went with. They sent me some coffee, and I was like, I don't like this. This tastes nasty, and I had to try, try it for myself.
Right,
And
right.
finally, I kind of came up with some mixtures and some roast and things like that, and I was like, this is the one. And I kind of dry tested it with a couple of friends. I was like, hey, let me slip this to you and see what you think. And then
Yeah, because I remember that. I remember that call, and I said, "Listen, man, I can't mess with you because I don't like
yeah,
coffee. I've been to spit it all out all over the place."
yeah, yeah. And so that's what I did, and I shot it to a couple of friends. Then finally somebody was like, yo, it's not just, a lot of times when we're doing products and you're selling something, and all three of us can attest to this, a lot of times it's just people are going to support you just because of who you are
Right, right.
versus your product.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody sells a t-shirt, but, I can sell a $10 t-shirt or a $100 t-shirt. But if you got, the if they got $100, they're going to support you just because it's you.
Right, right,
But
right.
I knew I was in the avenue. I was in the different avenue of nobody selling coffee, and that's what everybody kept saying to me. Was like, not only are you selling coffee, you created the coffee.
Right.
I tapped into a different vein, so I knew I had to change my market up. I was following people, and people didn't even realize it was me. I didn't get on Instagram and followed all my top 5 friends. I was following Coffee Mate and International Delight Creamer, and I was following different people, coffee people. I was looking at coffee trucks and coffee shops, and I was just following them. And now we do a thing. I think I've tagged both of y'all in it. Every morning we do a thing called First Sips, where it's just a bunch of coffee people just posting a boomerang of them drinking coffee, and so you tag each other. So now I'm in that community of
So y'all just hold on. So all y'all just sitting around just drinking coffee. We are sitting around drinking coffee and just talking about the coffee. I mean, how does that work, man?
Like a leisure.
Yeah,
it's,
what is?
I mean, but the thing is, it's like anything that you do when you connect with somebody.
Right.
It's a mutual connection. I like coffee.
Yeah.
You like coffee. We have something to talk about. And
Indeed.
hey, a lot of businesses are built around the coffee table.
Mm-hmm.
A
Yeah.
lot of companies are formed. A lot of visions and dreams are formed at the coffee table, as well as the golf course. Or hey, with women, let's go shopping. Let's go do yoga. And your yoga partner might be an investor for your business that you're trying to build.
Mhm.
All because you tapped into yoga. A lot of times it sounds, I say it again, it sounds crazy, but you have to do it, And I think the greatest thing, and I don't want to take up all the time, but
Yeah,
I think
man.
the greatest thing that happened during last year in COVID was people were at home. They couldn't go nowhere. So
Right.
so the advantage that I had was I could mail the coffee to you without going
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. And then what really happened was when Starbucks did the whole protest against, when there was a protest against 2 black guys that was kicked out of Starbucks
And
for
it's
sitting in,
right.
sitting in, I had maybe, um, I think I had like 20 orders and people just calling me. But guess what? And this is the thing about it, and Lizzie can attest to this, is I wasn't prepared because
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
sales had dropped. And I was like, oh, ain't nobody buying no coffee. I was outdoor dashing and my phone was going crazy trying to figure out where could they get coffee from. And people was tagging me because they knew I sold coffee, but I had no clue what
Right.
was going on. So in this business and entrepreneurship, you got to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be
Right.
ready for, you know, it can change overnight. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I know Lindsey can attest to that.
But so the funny thing is, last week, I think it was last week, I had a guy on the show named Dominic Epps. He's one of the co-owners of Wall Street Cafe.
Yeah.
And one thing that he said that really stuck out was the fact that, a lot of times we entrepreneurs, whatever, make a lot of excuses. Either they don't have the money or they have the money, but they don't know how.
Yeah.
It's one or the other. And one thing he said, you can't be broke in both situations. You
Right.
got to be rich in one or the other. So that
Yeah.
way, if the money drops, you're ready to go. You know
Right.
what I mean? Or vice versa. So it's just about being prepared.
Mhm.
And and like you said, man, this whole entrepreneurship and being your own, you can say being your own boss, whatever you want to say, however you want to call it. You've got to make sure that you're prepared, because when that opportunity comes, and if you're not ready to jump through that window, sometimes that window might just shut on you. You know what I mean? And then you got to kind of start all over again and figure it out. Lindsey, as far as you and your organization, your business goes, what was the driving factor with you, even, because being an entrepreneur, man, that ain't it might look nice, but when you trying to make some money as well, you may want to impact the world, you might want to impact the company, your whatever, your community and everything else, but when that money ain't looking right, and you got bills and you got responsibilities and things of that nature, how do you balance the two? Like, how does that work? For you, and how's that worked for you in the past?
So honestly, I mean, I still work. I have a whole job.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
And
That's
granted,
smart.
I don't plan on having that job much longer. I still, at this moment, do work because I'm gonna always have some kind of steady source of income, even if I'm just working part-time. That's guaranteed money. I always want to have the guaranteed money somewhere. It might not be a whole bunch of money. It might not even
hold on. Do me a favor.
Yes.
Say that one more time for the people in the back that ain't hear that. Say that one more time.
Always gonna have guaranteed money coming from somewhere. Entrepreneurship is not just about being your own boss or working for yourself. It's so much more than that. It's about the impact. And you can't impact somebody if you don't have it. I have to take care of me. My house has to be good and in order before I can do anything for anybody else. Because if I'm not together, then my business is not together, because my life is not together. It doesn't even make sense. So I have to make sure that what needs to be done is done. Then I can do everything else. Granted, I've learned how to juggle the systems. I learned how to get my work stuff done and get my vision-driven stuff done and coordinate this event and talk to my clients and do all the things with a lot of organization and planning. But I always have that steady source of income, so that even if something falls off, even if I lose clients or the business fails tomorrow, I'm not out back. I don't lose my stuff. I don't lose my house or my car or anything like that.
Yeah, that's, and I think that's key, because you have so many people that, and I'll be honest with you, you got folks that will say, listen, the Lord done told me to start this business, and they get up and quit their job to go and start this business. As soon as that thing don't work out, then they want to blame the Lord. You know what I mean? But you got to be smart about this thing. Like, you got to really understand and know, you may be called to do it, but there's a way that you have to do it. It's a process that you may have to take in order to get this thing done, so that way, ultimately, it's going to be successful, and you're not going to lose your shirt trying to run a business.
And it's about waiting. Like, you have to wait. Your time is your time. There's nothing that you can do. You can do all the work and have all the things and be ready to go, but you don't have the clients. You don't have the exposure. You don't have something. But when it's your time, when it's supposed to happen for you, everything falls into place and you don't have to worry. I've held off on a lot of things. I have ideas out behind, but it's not time for them yet.
Yeah.
When it's time for them, I'll know. And then that's when I execute, not before, because then I'm going to mess it up. Then it's going to be wrong. Then I'm going to be broke and wondering why. Because I wasn't my time. I wasn't patient.
And I guess, and I'll be honest. So for me, my issue has always been, a lot of times for me, it's about, so for me, I'm a big thinker, and I will analyze stuff, but sometimes I'll analyze it to the point to where it won't get done. So there's a term that they call paralysis by analysis. And for me, I mean, that's it. I will my wife will tell you, I'll have so many ideas to the point I'm thinking about how to get it done the right way so much that it may never get done.
Yeah.
And so I guess it's about finding that medium and being able to, that balance, and being able to juggle it. But like you said, like, when you have responsibilities, Ain't no way you can just up and quit your job and all of a sudden I'm about to go start. Now, some people have done it and it's worked out for them.
Yeah.
Um, but for me, I know that can't happen. And so, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to get you guys on here to have these conversations, because some people got it all messed up. Their whole thing is, they've got a good job, but they're gonna up and quit their job tomorrow because they're gonna start this business and they know it's gonna blow. And and haven't planned it out and haven't done what needs to be done, laid that groundwork or that foundation. Mark, you was gonna say something?
Yeah, and one thing I've learned in this entrepreneurship, and I'm sure Lindsey again can attest to this, is a reason why I keep saying that, because I met Lindsey through a mutual friend, and I swear I've known her. It's like I've known her for years. And you can say the same thing. Is you have to be careful. We hear it's cliche to say, but it's so key in entrepreneurship and just building it. You have to be careful who you listen to. Because that one friend to have you with 200 T-shirts and don't buy the T-shirt, you know what I'm saying, and the other friend to have you, with one T-shirt and give you money for the 300 because but that friend doesn't have the money to support you, but they give you that idea, and they take that one. They be like, oh man, that's what they suggested. But be careful who you listen to and how you promote and sell your dreams to people, your vision to people, because you'll end up like you're saying. Our good friend Joe Baker, Pastor Joe Baker, always say, "You will take that bubble bath. You gonna be everything gonna be. You gonna be taking a bath. You gonna be washing. You know what I'm saying? You gonna take a wash. And you can't be afraid of that in entrepreneurship. You can't be afraid of. I remember, the FedEx messed up my deliveries. One time I decided to order 10 bags of coffee. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I'm gonna order 10 bags of coffee right before, I think it was Christmas or something, or a pop-up event. I was going to do a vending event. They delivered to the wrong house.
So somebody was drinking coffee. Somebody drank coffee for a good year off you then.
And it was the weekend.
Oh man.
I literally was standing at the FedEx gate looking for my package, and it had said deliver. 4 days later, which was maybe Wednesday, a guy randomly drove down my street and was like, "Hey, they delivered your coffee to a empty house." You know what I'm saying? So you missed the sale. I missed. I was hurt because it because it takes is one bad experience for somebody.
Right.
And your business is trash. Your business is garbage. Don't support black business. This why I don't support black businesses, and this why I don't support small businesses, because but they don't understand the hardship of that's the stuff that you go through, and you have to be able to accept that. You have to be able to accept that crowd versus the crowd that says, I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what you need? And how can I help you out? You have to balance. You have to know how to balance the two. And if you gotta have tough skin. You gotta have
so Lindsey, and I'll pose this to both of you. When it comes to starting your own business, what is the one thing that the both of you have learned what to do when it comes to starting a business?
Network some more, and then network some more, and then network a little bit more of that. I have so many resources available because people know that I'm going to support them, so they in turn support me. I could do some things almost for free because of the favors that I can cash in from building my network. Like for the longest time, when I first started business, I was at a networking event every of the week. Like you would catch me somewhere meeting somebody, letting them know who I was. And at that point, I didn't even have the business. I just had the idea of the business. And I was just telling people, this is what I'm thinking about doing, just so they can know my name. Just so if they saw me pop up on Facebook or Instagram, they're like, oh, I met her, I'm gonna follow her. Or we'd be right there. I'm like, what's your name? Where can I find you? Put it in my phone. I used to come from networking events with a stack of cards, and I would send out an email to everybody whose card I had in my hand, just so people could know who I was and be on the lookout. I didn't even have anything in the works. Just be on the lookout. I'm trying to be somebody. Check me out.
Networking.
That's I mean that it's something you know how I feel about you. You know, you're my brother, like my mentor for real, and that's something you taught me from 20 years ago. It's never, put your name for years. I was, oh, that's JB's dude. You know what I'm saying? And it was until, hey, I don't know how to do this, but I'm gonna sit in the background and learn how to do this and network. There were times I didn't want to go to concerts. I didn't want to go to shows. I didn't want to go to this. But then there was times when I was just sitting at home and somebody said, hey, I got a ticket. You want to come to the door? Meet me at the door. And so it's about network, man. And just today, and it's not coincidence, it's just coincidence. Somebody texted me a question about a 501c3. I called Lindsey, I texted Lindsey and was like, hey, you know anybody in this? And she was like, yep. You know what I'm saying? And it's all about networking. It's like you say, I tell people all the time, if something was to really happen to me, I know people, I know doctors, I know lawyers, I know police officers, I know judges, if I need a house built, I know that can build a house. I know plumbers. It's all about network. You can't live this life, especially during COVID, just sitting in the house without knowing somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because I was doing DoorDash during COVID. Some people were like, "Hey, can you come drop some food off?" Cool. It's network. It's all about what you're doing and who you're meeting. So that's the number one thing to do is network, and then I would say get all your paperwork right.
Right.
Make sure your paperwork is right.
Yeah. And get a mentor. Mentorship is so important in business, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And even if you do know what you're doing, you don't know everything. Right. Yeah. Get someone who's where you want to be.
So so back to I think last week's show with Mr. Epps, and that was one of the things that he had mentioned. He talked about he had a mentor. And so my question to him and even to you guys, well, one is how do you find a mentor? And then two is how do you become a mentee to a mentor? Because, you may have a lot of people out there that you may want to learn from. Listen, there's people that I've contacted on numerous occasions that I wanted them to mentor me at one time. I really did, because it was things that I was doing. I wanted to learn, and I wanted to make sure that one, I was doing it the correct way. And then two, how can I do it and be profitable from it? And I saw that some of these people were doing it and were being profitable. But unfortunately, everybody, I won't say they don't want to be a mentor, but sometimes I think everybody that may be successful feel as though if they bring on someone and they start to teach them, that ultimately that person's going to become their competition. That they will become the competition and no longer a mentee, but they'll start taking money out of their mouth. And so, I guess the good thing about that and saying that is, well, you don't really want a mentor like that anyway. Right. Like that's nobody that you really want to fool with once you kind of find out their mindset, regardless of how successful they may be and what they may have accomplished. But even for you guys, when it comes to finding a mentor, what are some of those things that you look for in a mentor?
So for me, I have about 3 mentors. I have someone who, like I said, is where I want to be, but then I also have 2 other mentors who are like just slightly above where I am. So they kind of help me do the step by step, as opposed to my other mentor. She's up there. I found my main mentor. Honestly, I stalked her. I stalked her on social media.
Oh boy. Okay.
I
All
don't
right.
know how that sounds. I stalked her social media. I saw that she was doing all these events, and I'm like, oh, I love doing events. I love putting events on. I want to learn how to put events on to that caliber, to that extent. Like I want all the people. And I would just see how she moved, how she interacted with people. I would go to events that I knew she would be at. I would, just kind of try to be in the same space that she was
Oh, so
in.
yeah, you said it right. Yeah, you stalked her. But go ahead.
I
Yeah,
did.
you're right.
I did.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna hold you. And
yeah.
and I got invited to her birthday party. It was like a private party, and I was like, oh, I'm going. I'm about to meet her face to face, and we about to be up in here. And that's literally what I said. I was like, hi, my name is Lindsey. You don't know me, but we are about to be friends. And she was like, okay, bet. And we started connecting on like social media, messaging each other back and forth. And she hit me up like one morning randomly. It was like 2:00 in the morning. I guess she saw my little active light, and she was like, why are you up? And I was like, working. She was like, cool, meet me for breakfast at 9
Wow.
at this place.
Wow.
And we've been inseparable ever since. So it's like we clicked after meeting. And I knew from talking to her that was someone that I wanted to learn from, someone I wanted guidance from. Because like you said, you do meet some people and it's like, oh, wow, they're super successful. They do all these things. And they are not mentors. They will not teach you anything. They will cut you down. They will bash your self-esteem. They will bash your products and make you feel bad because they are intimidated. And honestly, that doesn't make sense because no one's my competition. I'm my own competition, but no one can do what I do the way I do it. You can do the exact same thing. You can do the exact same thing I'm doing, but I am what makes it different. So I will teach you all the things that I know and how I got them done. I have mentees now. I got about 4. And I'm like, what you need? Where you at? How can I help? You doing an event? All right. You need to contact these people. Where you at? Come on, let's go. You're not my competition. We're not even in the same playing field. And I'm still rooting for you. And you still not taking my money. And I'm still proud of you. So, a real mentor knows that no matter how much you instill into somebody else, they're not going to be your competition. I'm proud when I see my mentees doing big things, hosting events. I'm excited. Because I helped do that. I helped create that. I helped boost your confidence like that. There's no shame in that. I'm not mad. Go you. So a real mentor is, when you talk to them, there's a feeling. And like I said, I'm a watch you. I'm a watcher. So I watch how you interact with other people. I watch how you treat people, what you say. It's not just about the money that you make. It's about how you are as a person. I'm for the people. So I can't have a mentor that treats people poorly, because then that's the reflection of me, and that's not who I am.
Yeah. And I think that is key. Definitely, understanding that, somebody that you may want to be your mentor, because you're looking at them and you're seeing all of the things that they're doing and what they've done and what they've accomplished. But ultimately, if you find out that, once you may sit down and have that conversation with them, or may not even get that far, then right then, you know what? I'm good. Let me find somebody else, or let me go a different route. And real quick, for those of you that are just tuning in, I want to say welcome. My name is JB Harrison. This is the Mind Your Business podcast. Today, we're doing something special, a little different. We got my man Marc Graham's on. We got Miss Lindsey A on as well. 2 entrepreneurs that are doing it here in the community. And once again, I just want to say I appreciate you guys for taking time out, because when it comes to entrepreneurship, it's not necessarily a 9 to 5. And right now I'm taking up some of your time when you could be working. So I appreciate you guys coming on and sharing and having these conversations with future entrepreneurs, future creators, future influencers, because ultimately we want to be able to teach them some of the things that we've learned, what we've learned to do, and some of the things that we may have learned not to do. And that's one of the purposes of the show, is just to really help prepare future entrepreneurs so that they have an understanding of what it takes, man, to get here. because it ain't always pretty. You know, you hear this a lot. You know, I want to work for myself. I want to have my own business. I want to do this. Okay, cool, that's fine. But understand what that takes. Understand how that works. And it ain't always the glitz and the glam. You know, there's a lot of things that go on in the background that you may not understand. So that's the whole point. Let's talk highs and lows. The both of you, when it comes to business and entrepreneurship and what you guys have accomplished, what is your highest high and what is your lowest low?
Marc, you want to go first? You want me to go first?
I think I kind of alluded. You can go first. Lady first.
Okay. My highest high, I think, was last year during the pandemic. I started a program out of thin air. I started a community initiative called Lunch on Us, and I started making lunches in my kitchen. And when the pandemic hit in March, and from March to July, me and a group of volunteers made and delivered over 8,500 lunches in the Hampton Roads area to kids in need. So, yeah, that was a thing. I was featured in Health Magazine, on the news a couple of times. It was a whole big to do, and I did not even think that it would become something so big. God was like, hey, make a sandwich. I was like, I'm not hungry, Jesus. Why am I making a sandwich? And it turned into a whole thing. My lowest low, Vision Driven was not supposed to be a nonprofit. Vision Driven was supposed to be a networking platform for aspiring entrepreneurs and creatives, kind of like what this is, but just a whole lot of events and workshops to help us get there. And I made this whole conference called Boss Up, and I had spent money on a space. I had a caterer. I had all this marketing, like thousands of dollars that I had spent, and I sold 2 tickets and had 1 vendor. I had to cancel the event a month in advance because it wasn't going to happen. No one was supporting. No one was showing up. That was the first thing I tried to do with Vision Driven. And that was the initial goal. So once that failed and flopped, I went home and I cried to my mom. And she told me, get up. What are you doing? Stop. That's not what we do. Focus. That's not your why. Your purpose is these kids. You're supposed to be out here for these kids. So after having a pep talk with my mom, I had to redo the conference, and I created Building Bosses, which is our annual conference now that we do. But that was my lowest low. I thought that was the worst thing that could happen. Like, I put so much work into this and so much money and nobody is supporting it, but it wasn't my purpose. So it wasn't going to work, but it hurt. It hurt my little feelings, something terrible, but it turned into what it is now. So it worked out.
So would you say that you found your purpose in a sense on accident?
No, because I was always doing it. I just wasn't recognizing it. So So you can. I was doing it the whole time, but I was never really connecting the dots. Like, I come from entrepreneurship. My parents have businesses. My sister has business. If I didn't have a business, I might be shunned. So, like, that's literally our family dynamic. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have this business too, because everybody else has a business. And I thought I had failed. Like, I thought that I was like, I'm not going to be like everybody else. Everyone else is out here. Like, why am I not out here? And I had to connect the dots. It took my mom, though. But it took my mom taking my blinders off and be like, girl, you've been doing this the whole time. You've been in the community the whole time. Don't you volunteer for like several organizations? Why are you acting like you don't know what to do? No. Yeah, true. You know, sometimes we get in our own way and we block our own sight that we don't see what's right in front of us.
And I think, and I know that, listen, I know that for sure for me, because I've probably done, sometimes I sit back, or I may be having a conversation with someone, and I will, during that conversation, I will remember something that I did, because I have done so many things. And so with that, I get it and I understand, because sometimes you may go through so many things until you find out where it is that you're really supposed to be. And that's good and bad, because now I think back, I'm like, man, if I knew what my purpose was, we'll say 15 years ago, where would I be now? how much heartache would I not have had? How much money would I not have lost? Even though I learned a lot of lessons, I chalk it up because there's a lot of things that I learned. But if I knew what my purpose was back then, would it have helped me, or would it have changed anything at all? Would I be a better person for doing it, or would I be the same? Or so it's one of those things. But a lot of times, we have to go through so many things to find out where it is exactly where we're supposed to be. But at the end of the day, I'll just be honest with you. If I guess if you really pray and you ask the Lord and know what your purpose is, that might help out too. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't do that at all, and that's probably why when all of the things that I've done. I've owned a record store, I've done promotions, I've done graphic design, I've done music management. I was a tour manager. I was a stage manager. Like, I've done so many different things. And I think for me, I loved everything that I did. But at the end of the day, finding out what your purpose is probably the best thing that you could ever do. Finding out what your purpose is. Because I think once you find out what your purpose is, it makes things a lot more easier, because you can really focus on that thing. You can really focus on it, and then you'll be able to see the impact because you know what your purpose is. You're focused, and once you see that impact, because you know what you're supposed to be doing, it's an amazing feeling. Marc, let's hear highs, man, lowest lows. What you got, brother?
I think my highest high was during the pandemic with the Black Lives Matter coffee sale. I was shipping all across the country to people I did not know at all. My Instagram, I checked it out, and I was like, follow, and like, and I was like, oh my god, and it just so happened. I said, hey, I had the smart thinking of networking. I had to ask somebody, yo, how can I publicly tell these people, just hold on, I got coffee coming. You know what I'm saying? And thank God for those due to high demand letters. You know what I'm saying? It's coming, so hold on. So that was great, and from that, I ended up having my coffee in doctor's offices, in schools.
Wait. You got the kids drinking coffee, man?
Well, no, not like the office people, like the principals and the
okay. I just want to make sure. Okay.
no, man. I mean, but kids do drink coffee though.
They do.
They really
Yeah,
do.
it's terrible.
You just
Yeah,
don't drink coffee, so your
yeah,
mind.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but no. So I've had it in doctors' offices, and it opened me up to pop-up shops and things like that. The low, was right after, the summer. It was just like no sales at all. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't because I wasn't promoting. It wasn't because I wasn't creating. It was posting every day. It was subscribing to websites. I was paying for the subscription. It was paying for the domain and all that. But it was no money coming in. You try different ideas. You try different videos and all that stuff. But it just wasn't no sales, to the point where I was like, I'm not even going to sell coffee no more. You know what I'm saying? But then I remembered my purpose, and my purpose is one thing I've learned is I know how to work a room. I know how to.
Yeah, man, you right about that, bro.
I know how to talk, and
Yes, sir.
and and I don't want to be deep, but God was like, you don't have this because you're not doing this. You use this tool, you can work this tool. And as soon as that happened, everything changed and came back on again. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we can't entrepreneurship. I know it's hard to say, and I know there's going to be a touchy thing when I say it, but you can't blame it all on COVID. You know what I'm saying? That can't be the excuse for why you're not working and why you're not networking and why you're not.
Right.
The government giving you buku money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To keep you going. and but you just have to keep working. You have to, like Lindsay said, you got to work all day and all night.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
stop creating, and don't be afraid to. And I remember I did this. I was intimidated. Don't you got to lose intimidation. I would see people I knew, people that knew me in my circles, like, such and such got coffee. Such and such.
right. Yeah, we had that conversation.
Yeah, and the conversation, what changed it was is, but they don't have your coffee. You're not
Right,
to what
right,
you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You're bringing something different. Of course, Lindsay could have said, "Well, my neighbor making sandwiches." You know,
right.
you could, everybody, there's a McDonald's, there's a Burger King, there's a Hardee's, there's a, Wendy's.
Hmm.
There's all something different there. I can't go to Wendy's and get a Big Mac. You know what I'm saying? I can't go to McDonald's and get a 4 for $4. And so it's constantly changing. It's constantly growing. You know, and the thing is, you have to be willing to grow. You have to be willing to look at your competition and say, all right, what they doing? Look at the game tape. Look at their game tape. I was when it sat in coffee shops. Didn't even want nothing. Just order. Let me see how they're doing. Let me see what they're doing.
And and it just makes me think. You kind of said something because if business is thought that way, then you would only have McDonald's or you would only have Burger King.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that was the case, well, why am I gonna make burgers too? Because Burger King does it.
Right.
Right.
But it didn't stop them. Matter of fact, sometimes they're right next door to each other.
Yeah.
Oftentimes.
And they're right next door and still have the same business and both are thriving.
Mhm.
And so, with that being said, it's like, hey, if you know you're called to do a thing, then you go ahead and do that thing regardless of who else that you know or may not even know is doing it.
Exactly.
And because you know that this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And you don't let anything sway you, don't let nobody intimidate you. Whether they're your friends, your family, your enemies, people you don't like, you can't stand, it don't matter, because at the end of the day, if you know that this what you're supposed to be doing, then boom,
Yeah.
you do it, and you do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
And you said something, networking is key. Building relationships, that's key. And I guess, even for me for so long, I'll be honest with you, I didn't even really like fooling with people.
You're right.
Listen, look, I didn't like fooling with people. I didn't really like talking to them. I didn't trust them. And so for me, doing the things that I've done, it's like, how do you expect to be able to do half of them things and you don't even really like dealing with people?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you don't really like talking to people. But come on, man, like it's you can't. Sometimes you gotta get out your comfort zone in order to be able to do the things that you feel as though you feel like your purpose is. I think for me, I really feel like being able to encourage somebody and equip somebody and give them an understanding of what it takes to do this thing. I think for me, it's almost paramount because I told my wife this. I don't want to see anybody lose their relationship over trying to start a business.
Mhm.
Mm.
And we've had conversations with entrepreneurs who have lost relationships. They lost their spouses. I know people that have lost homes, lost cars, and I don't want to see anybody go through that. That's a hard space to be in, and especially if it's something that you feel like God has called you to do. God, you feel like God has called you to do a thing, and then everything around you is falling apart.
Yeah.
And so for me, I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so if there's something that I can do, and if having these conversations help, just to kind of let people know, hey man, like this is what could happen if you don't plan accordingly, if you don't do what you need to do, if you don't have time set aside and space set aside for your family. You can't work this thing. I know you're trying to make it successful, but you can't work this thing all day, every day. And you got kids, you got a wife, it's It's a setup.
Right.
You know what I mean? What are some of the things, and I'm not really sure if I asked, what are some of the things that I won't necessarily say that you guys have learned, but based off some of your experiences, for somebody that wants to start a business tomorrow, outside of networking, what's something that you would tell them right now?
Don't believe the hype.
Mm.
People will put all of their wins on social media. They don't show you the lows. They don't show you the struggle. They're so quick to tell you, you know, oh yeah, I made $50,000 today, just now. You've been doing this thing for 10 years. Don't act like it just came out of nowhere. People love to make it seem like it's so easy, and it's not. And rest is productive. Don't let these people tell you that you can sleep when you dead, because no. Your business will suffer, like you said, your relationships will suffer, your family will suffer, you will suffer if you don't take care of yourself. And I mean, like, in all aspects. Get a doctor, get a PCP, go to sleep. It's gonna be there tomorrow. Don't stay up all night trying to get things done, and then you have a meeting at 8 a.m. and you what's going on because you can't see straight because you're tired. Go to sleep. Take care of yourself. Spend time with your family. The business is going to come. It's going to be there. Still be about your business, but don't forget your life. Because if all of this goes away, all of this stops tomorrow, I still have a banging family. My tribe is solid, and my baby girl loves me, and that's facts. Everything else can be replaced, but my relationships can't always be replaced. You will lose people, you will lose time, and you will lose yourself if you get so caught up in being an entrepreneur that you forget about everything else.
Oh, that mercy.
Wow.
That's tough to come behind, bro.
Man, dang, Lindsey.
Sorry, my bad.
Oh my goodness. Wow, repeat that whole question again.
Man, I done forgot the question myself, man. What, as far as business goes, for somebody that wants to feels like they're called to start a business or entrepreneurship, whatever. What's the one thing? What is the thing that you would tell them prior to getting into it?
Honestly, and it's something little, it's something simple. It's do all your research.
Mm-hmm.
Do your research. You know, one thing I had to learn was, like it's a shameless plug, but the one thing that makes my coffee different is this French press. And people are like, well, what is French press? They just know coffee. You know, is it, it do got beans in it? Yeah. I could tell that they didn't realize that coffee is beans, and, they asking, does it have beans in it? But, you have to do your research. You have to know the difference of, the different types of, I had to learn the different types of coffee, the different types of drinks, the different type of creamers. Even though I wasn't a fan of certain things, I had to learn how to try to make it myself and sit down and do it myself because I know that's my audience. I couldn't cater to just the guy who wanted one cup of coffee with some sweet and low. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize, all right, somebody out here gonna try to use this coffee to make a latte. Somebody out here gonna, make iced coffee. And that's what I started doing. I was like, I wonder how to do it. And I just started learning how to do cold brew like a month ago. Now I know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized it's summertime. Not everybody wants hot coffee, but they want some fresh cold brew. So I tapped into that. So you just sit here and constantly, just constantly do the research, man. You got to constantly grow yourself and learn the craft that you're in.
Right. Yeah.
If you're not learning the craft, you're gonna. It's and like you said in the beginning of the show, it's always growing. It's always growing. Yeah.
And you've got to keep up with the advancements in your industry, the trends. I'm a big tech dude, so, and probably to a fault. So if it was up to me, I'd probably have every wireless mic, every plug-in, everything, every cable. My wife got to reel me in sometimes. But we don't need that right now. Just slow down. But definitely keeping up with the trends, and not what's trending, but the trends of your field. Knowing some of the things that are taking place, the upswings, and just staying abreast of all the things that are happening in that industry. Real quick, how can people reach you? You know, if they're looking, if they want to get you, if they want to help you out with the kids, Marc, if they want to get some coffee, how can they find you guys?
You can follow Vision Driven 757 on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can check out visiondriven757.org. You can follow me at Lindsey A of VA on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Website coming soon.
Hey.
Hey. You can follow me at www.beinglyfe, Lyfe.
Bruh, Marc. Everybody knows it's www now.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, hey, people might be doing, you know.
What are they doing with their smartphones and their iPads? What are they doing?
www. No, go ahead, Marc. My bad.
www anymore.
Marc, just my bad, brother. You go ahead and you tell them how to find you. My fault, brother.
BeingLyfeCoffee.com. Lyfe. Don't do F-E. It's Lyfe.
Lyfe. Being Lyfe Coffee.
Yeah. And,
hey, well, look, I said this to you guys before. I truly appreciate y'all. Marc, I appreciate you because you were the plug on even getting Miss Lindsey here this evening. So I appreciate you as well. I appreciate both of y'all, but Marc, you know, I appreciate that as well. And I said this to you before, and I honestly mean it. You guys can be doing anything else, and you probably need to be doing something else as far as your business goes.
Yeah.
But you took time out to come, really to come hang out with me, but also to give some information to our listeners and our viewers. And I truly, truly appreciate you guys for that. And that's from, when I say it, Marc, no, if I say something from the bottom of my heart, it's really coming from the bottom of my heart.
Listen, you better take
really.
it.
I mean, like for real, I do, because like I said, y'all could be doing anything else. Probably need to be doing something. You're probably thinking about stuff that you need to be doing right now. You know what I mean? But I really do appreciate you guys. And if there's anything that I could do, please don't hesitate. Text, email, call, smoke signal, whatever. And I'll do whatever it is that I can. I honestly mean that. Yes, sir. You're going to say something?
I thought about a conversation that I had with both of you all and I just realized that I had that conversation with you all, both of you all, and here we all are. So we might got to set up a whole Zoom.
Hey, listen, right. Whatever we need to do, let's, yeah, let's, whatever we need to do, man, let's do it. Like I said, whatever I have access to, whomever I have access to, you guys let me know if you need it. It's yours, hands down. So I really appreciate you guys. And for those of you that are tuning and watching us, I appreciate you guys as well, because you could be doing anything else, but you chose to hang out with us. Hopefully you learned something. Something was said that will encourage you guys at moving forward to maybe kind of look into it first before you take that step, and just to make sure this is what it is that I should be doing, and do what you need to do to get there. Once again, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. I'm JB Harrison. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, tuning in, and we'll do it again on Monday. Next Monday, I think it's Memorial Day. June, we got it. Listen, man, June is crazy. I got Miss Audrey from the whole Curse Broken line. She's gonna be on. I got a comedian. This dude Tim Shropshire. He did the chicken joint. He had a piece of chicken in his mouth. He was crying. He's a funny guy. So he's coming. So we got some things lined up. I got a couple big things. I ain't saying nothing yet, but y'all just hang out with us. Mind Your Business podcast. I appreciate you guys, and y'all have a good evening. And we will talk to you guys real soon.